Hello and welcome. You're listening to Tim McArthur with the Curtain Up Show live on Resonance 104.4 FM. How are you doing? How's your week been? Have you been out and seen some lovely, marvellous pieces of theatre? And I'm delighted to say in the studio today, well, it's a bit hot, it's a bit sweaty, it's full of masculinity today on the Today Show, on the Curtain Up Show. I'm going to be joined by Tim Rogers, who's currently appearing in Jekyll and Hyde, and Steven Webb, who's appearing in The Thing About Men, and the director of that, Mr. Andrew Keates. And of course, next to me is my sidekick in crime, Mr. Nathan. Hello, dear. How are you, dear?
I'm very well. How are you, Tim?
Oh, there we go. Alice, how are you, dear? You all right, dear?
I'm very well, Tim. How are you?
Have you a nice week, dear?
I've had a lovely week. Nice, warm, sunny week.
Oh, I'm so pleased the sun is shining, actually.
Isn't it just?
It's made such a difference. And of course, this weekend is very exciting because it is the Eurovision Song Contest. Nathan, here's a flag.
Thank you.
Let's wave our flag for Britain. Pass that around, will you? Pass those around, Nathan. Let's all have a flag in the studio. James, you want a flag? James driving our show today. Here, James, have a flag. Every time we mention the Euro, we're going to wave our flags. It's very exciting. Do you think we're going to win? Have we had any messages?
You caught me unawares. I was actually just posting on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Curtain Up Show that we've just played Merrily We Roll Along. And it's probably worth pointing out, actually, if you hear a song that you quite like on the show, you can go on our Facebook page and there's links to Dress Circle, the world's greatest showbiz shop.
Very
you
good.
can buy all the songs that we've been playing via Dress Circle.
And also,
online.
if people wanted to put in a little request in for maybe a song next week, they could maybe do that, couldn't they, as well, if they wanted to? That'd be nice.
They certainly could. And you also mentioned about plugging shows, sending in mentions of shows that people are doing. Production of The Pirates of Penzance at the Tabard Theatre is coming up, I think. I'm trying to find the tweet. There's been so many this morning, they're running all over the place.
Oh, very good. That's what we like.
Yeah, here we go. Ben Vivian Jones has tweeted to say, Pirates of Penzance at the Tabard Theatre with their hot, sweaty, topless pirates. Interesting.
Sounds like a Saturday night out for me.
And June... I'm not sure. I'm so sorry, June. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but I know that we...
Nathan, what'd you say? Concentrate. Oh, honestly, you can't get this stuff these days, I tell you. Also, let me pass it here. I'll read it. Also, someone... June told dear... Curtain Up Show, and she said she so loves Eurovision, although we can't enter. Oh, where are you? Flags.
South Africa. Because
South Africa.
June actually tweeted me earlier in the week to ask if she could suggest... Stop.
Suggest what, dear? Come on.
Songs for us to play.
Oh, dear.
And June, I haven't seen a tweet from you suggesting a song. So tweet and suggest a song, and hopefully next week we can play a song chosen by you.
Also, someone's tweeted in, also on Thursday, Machines for Living opened at the Blue Elephant Theatre in Camberwell, so go and see that. That's a marvellous... Oh, dear Nathan, honestly, what you like?
Sorry.
I think it's the heat. What's wrong with you?
I think I'm getting a heat stroke. Anyway, let's move on.
Anyway, moving on. I'm delighted to say I've got two very handsome young men in the studio with me now, who Mr. Stevie Webb. Hello, and Mr. Andrew Keates, who's the director of The Thing About Men at the Landor Theatre, which I went to see, I think it was last Friday.
Yes, you did.
Which was your press night, wasn't it?
It was.
So, Stevie Webb, tell us a little bit about... Yes. Tell us a little bit about The Thing About Men.
The Thing About Men. The Thing About Men. Well, basically...
And the show.
It centres around an American New York advertising executive he's living the American dream, basically. He's got the Porsche, perfect family, loads of money, great job, and he's currently in his third affair in his 15-year marriage. And then one day he comes home and he realises his wife has a hickey on her neck, and it turns out that she's having an affair, and in his world that's unacceptable. He can, but she can't. And so he moves out, and then he tracks down his wife's lover and fools him into taking him in as a roommate. And so he moves in with his wife's lover to see what's going on and try and track it down. And then they actually form a bromance that is stronger. I know it sounds ridiculous. And then they form a bromance that is stronger than the bond between either lover and wife or wife and husband. And then hilarity ensues.
Hilarity. And what's really interesting, what I loved about it is obviously, that it's a really strong cast. You all gel so beautifully together.
Cheers.
But what your part... You play so many different parts. 12 different parts. Yeah. From my favourite one was actually the Chinese sushi.
The Japanese, yes.
Japanese.
Yes.
The
sushi
Japanese
delivery.
Sushi.
It's 3 seconds. I'm on.
When you were in rehearsals, were those characters already established within the writing, or did you think, it'd be hilarious to have a sushi man? I can't say.
Well, the
sushi. Sushi man.
A Shih Tzu sushi man.
Don't stop it, Nathan. Dear, here we go.
Dear. Well, no, there are. It does say like taxi driver and maitre d', sushi delivery man, but then you can go so many different ways with each of those characters. And so, for instance, I've got Manuel, who speaks like this, man, and he's the taxi driver. Then I run off and I quickly become a grunge teenager man who's totally talking like that.
Yeah.
And so we develop them in rehearsals, and it was such fun to be able to do that. It's a gift, really, to be able to play 12 characters in one show.
And I suppose also you don't, because it's a busy show for you, really. You don't really have time, because also you're probably changing when you're
a lot of the time.
I'm
changing. Yeah.
Mr. Andrew Keates, director of The Thing About Men, why did you decide to do this piece?
Lots of reasons, really. I suppose the biggest... I first came across The Thing About Men when I was in training at the Guildford School of Acting. And I'm a bit of an anorak, bit of a musical theatre geek. And all of a sudden, whilst looking through these kind of shelves of musicals, funnily enough, I pulled out a few CDs once, one of which was The Hired Man, and the other was The Thing About Men. And I joked at the time, I said, well, you couldn't ask for two more different shows, could we?
Both have men in the title.
Both have men. You can see what I was guided by, Tim.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, obviously, I did The Hired Man last year.
And you won some awards, didn't you?
Won lots of awards. It was very good. And it was... The Hired Man is a wonderful show. You know, it really is. It shows you how much integrity musical theatre can have. And when we were deciding what show we were going to do at the Landor this year, or what I was going to direct at the Landor this year, I thought, do you know what? If I try and do another Hired Man, there's going to be no point. Let's go completely the other way. And actually, the thing about Men is it's well written. It's good fun. It's not going to change the world at all, but it's very much grounded in reality. It turns on a sixpence. It goes from hijinks farce all the way down to really quite moving, very depressing moments in it, and it's very honest. And what's lovely about it is I have the most fantastic cast, the most fantastic creatives, and a really good fun show, and it couldn't be any more different to The Hired Man, yet still a really fabulous quality production, as the Landor always does.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I remember actually, it started and I was thinking, I think I've seen this before. You know, when you go to the theatre and something starts and then went, I have seen this before, and I saw it at the King's Head, which randomly Tim Rogers played Tom. Yeah. Did it, or was it Sebastian?
He was Tom or Sebastian. What's even more interesting was Anthony Drew directed it,
yeah.
Who obviously I directed Just So, funny enough, at the Tabard Theatre a couple of years ago. So, yes, it's a big old industry family, isn't it? We all seem to love the same shows. And what's great is obviously the Fringe is the only place that is doing these different pieces.
Yeah. And cheaper than a West End ticket price as well. And also, you've got air conditioning.
And we do.
So see what I did there?
Yeah.
See what I did there? So even though it's going to be a really hot weekend, you can still, go to the theatre and be cool. That, of course, was You'll Never Get Into This Restaurant by The Thing About Men, and I'm joined by Mr. Steven Webb and Andrew Keates, who are, Steve, you actually played the guy who sings that song. Yeah,
Bernard, he's a maitre d' of a very hip restaurant.
Yeah, I have to say, that point of the show is a real stealing moment. It's a showstopper, actually.
Oh, well, thanks.
Because you got
it's a gift of a song, yeah.
Yeah, and you got
just
a really
me
big
on
round of
stage
applause.
doing a piaf and dressed up and flaunting about.
Mr. Andrew Keates, what's next for you? What's your sort of?
Well, funny enough, I'm very lucky. I wanted to work at the Finborough Theatre for quite some time, and after The Hired Man won Best Musical Production last year in the offwestend.com Awards, Neil McPherson spoke to me, and it's after 35 years, we're doing the revival of Passing By, which is a stunning Martin Sherman play. Anybody who knows my work knows that I did Bent a few years ago. And I've been looking for the next Martin Sherman, and obviously Martin and I are very, very close. He's a bit of a mentor, really. In fact, I call him Mama Sherman, if anything. And I came across this wonderful play, Passing By, which is so not known, and it'll be at the Finborough this September. There's also a new Howard Goodall musical, which I'll be doing at the end of the year as well. So lots of new stuff, lots of exciting stuff, some revivals, some new work, as well as looking after Thing About Men at the moment, which is, at the moment, just bloody good fun.
Now, Mr. Steven Webb, of course, you've had I was reading, I didn't know that you were the lead in Oliver at the age of 10 at the London Palladium.
I was, yeah.
What's that like?
Back in the day. Well, was great because at 10 years old, you haven't developed nerves or sort of any kind of
anxieties.
Things like that. So I just remember running around singing and dancing on stage, and not really thinking anything of it. Because I didn't have any sort of emotional baggage or anything, or any nerves, or any fear.
How we've changed.
I know. As you get older, it gets worse. Just sometimes getting on stage.
And inhibitions, none of that's there. And so I remember it just as great fun.
And of course, you were in the History Boys as well. And I didn't know, but you were in Bad Girls. What's been the highlight of your career?
I joined Bad Girls. Thanks for this. Bad Girls in Series 3, and I played one of the convict sons, and then I came back in Series 8 and had a baby and got married.
You
in
had
prison.
a baby?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Not
literally.
you. No,
anything could be possible.
In Bad Girls, yeah.
I remember
But I do remember just finishing the Christmas special, dancing to YMCA in a women's prison, holding my baby.
Very good. The only episode I think I ever saw of Bad Girls was when someone got killed with a peanut.
It could happen to
Did it go
anyone.
into anaphylactic shock?
I think so. I think
by allergy.
Yeah, I think
good.
so.
Not
And it's
just
like no,
fired.
I love the way we just skimmed over the fact that you ended your reign on Bad Girls by singing or dancing to YMCA in a prison cell, and that was completely fine by all of us.
That's a normal.
Yeah.
And Steven Webb, do you have any? What's your sort of your dreams of your? Because you've had a great career already. Is there anything that you'd really like to do?
Yeah.
Represent Britain in the Eurovision Song Contest, maybe.
Flags.
Oh.
Do you know what, Tim? Actually, since I've known you, I completely associate Eurovision with you.
Really? Why?
And just because you're always talking about it throughout the year.
Do you celebrate Eurovision, Tim?
I do, actually. Tomorrow night, I'm having a bit of a party.
Yeah. I've been invited to one of your parties, I think.
Yeah.
One of your Eurovision parties.
It's hilarious, actually. Nathan here, my producer of the radio show, is also the producer of the Eurovision party. We are so sad.
Oh, wow.
I love it.
He even texted me. He actually texted me yesterday and gave me the date of next year's Eurovision Song Contest.
Me.
I was like, please, can we get this year's out of the way?
18th of May 2013, put it in your diary.
Come on.
I know, it's really bad. We ain't going to win at all. But
But yes, to answer your question. Well, this ridiculously, I started when I was 8, and I turned 28 this year, so it's my 20th year this year, which is insane. And I've done so. I've been really lucky because I've played so many opposite parts. I played, psychos and but just really varied parts. And I'm a big supporter of new writing, and so that's something that I really I look forward to, and it excites me a lot. And so I'm a big supporter of that. And so. Yeah, just lots more new good writing.
And of course, you're about to go back at Panto season, aren't you?
I am. This will be my third.
At the Lyric
Hammersmith, yes. And I'm on board this year.
What is it this year?
Cinderella. I'm a creative associate this year as well. So we've already had our first read through, which was last week. But my best friend in the world, Julie Atherton, will be playing Cinderella, which is
that's
awesome.
Nice. And you're in London for Christmas as well, aren't you?
Which is
nice.
great.
So you don't have to.
It's amazing.
Go into the sticks. I had my Panto confirmed yesterday.
Where are you going?
I'm going back to Hereford.
Lovely.
My third year as Dame in Hereford. I love it up there. It's such a great theatre, and they care about it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And there's no big celebs in it. It's just all about the story and telling the story, and it's really nice show. So I'm really excited. And my mate Maddie the Baddie's coming back as well from that year, but she's playing the Good Fairy.
And hurricanes hardly ever happen.
I know. In Hertfordshire. You should come up, Mr. Andrew Keates. Come and see the old Dame, dear.
Was that a...
As we stumble along there from the musical The Drowsy Chaperone, which had an unfortunate short life on the West End. It opened on the 14th of May 2007, and first night was the 6th of June, and it closed on the 4th of August, just playing less than 100 performances. And it starred, of course, John Partridge, who is in EastEnders, who plays the gentleman-friendly one. What's the word for gay? And Summer Strallen, of course, is currently appearing in Top Hat, and it of course also starred our dame herself of British musical theatre, Miss Elaine Page.
The First Lady
The
of
First
British
Lady of musical theatre, dear. And actually, I met Elaine Page. Have you met Elaine Page, Stephen?
I have met Elaine Page, yes.
She's lovely, isn't she?
Yeah, I thought she was very delightful, yes.
I interviewed her for when I was doing the Olivia Awards, the first time Salt broadcast it on the Tinternet.
I remember.
And a hilarious story. I'd interviewed about 5 times throughout the day, and by the 5th time, she was a little bit obsessed with my chest hair. And I remember she rubbed it, and she was like, "Hello, darling. We're all going back to mine for cocktails. Would you like to come?" And I was like, "No, sorry, I've got to interview Fuella Benjamin." Anyway, I'm in the studio joined by Mr. Andrew Keates, the director of The Thing About Men, and Mr. Steven Webb, which is currently playing at the Landor Theatre. What's been your favourite thing you've ever done in your career, Steven Webb?
Ooh.
The Thing About Men.
The Thing About Men.
The Thing About Men.
At the Landor Theatre.
If I say that, then I've done it. I haven't done it yet. Maybe. I don't think I've done it. I think there's more to come. But I know what you're saying because I can't pick one.
The best is yet to come.
The best is yet to come.
The best is yet to come. There you go. That's what I say. I don't know.
What challenges you?
I think you take something away from every show you do, whether it's a success, whether it's a long run, a short run, whether you get on with the cast or not. So you take something away from each one. And so I think everything I've done is my favourite in a way. Because there's something from each one that you take that's different from every job.
And Andrew Keates, you trained as an actor, didn't you?
Yeah.
And now you've crossed over into direction. What do you prefer? Which would you miss acting? Would you ever go back? Or?
No. It was it's a bit different, really. When I was very little, my big passion was Shakespeare, and a fabulous director. When I was about 13, 14, when I was saying, I think I want to be a director and a producer, said to me, well, the only way to be a great director is to understand how actors work, because they're the tools you work with. So I had a bit of a strange training. I went to a fabulous place called Brockenhurst. And then I went to the Mountview Academy of Theatre Arts, and then the Guildford School of Acting. So kind of 6 years training, working with fantastic tutors to terrible directors to all these different kinds of people. And I just kind of sat there as a sponge, soaking up these different rehearsal rooms. And that's what I kind of bring into the rehearsal room with the actors I work with now. And I've got to say, both Guildford and Mountview are exceptional schools, and I was very lucky. Very lucky.
What do you think makes a good director?
Is that to me or Andrew?
Both of you.
Do you know what? The greatest secret is have the best cast in the world, and then just guide them, facilitate. Directors aren't dictators, they're facilitators. And it's not about telling a cast how to do it, it's about asking them the questions and enabling them. And I've been very fortunate, actually, what with the Landor and the shows I've done, to have phenomenal cast members. Like Thing About Men has obviously Stevie, Kate Graham,
cast.
John Addison, Peter Gerald, and Lucy L. Cliff. I mean,
who's hilarious as well.
I couldn't ask for 5 more wonderful actors to work with. And actually, the only way for actors to trust a director is for a director to trust their actors.
Yeah, you said about it's working with the tools, isn't it, really?
Yeah, totally.
So is Steven Webb a spanner or a hammer?
Stevie Webb is a star.
He's
an absolute star. But I think what's lovely about Stevie is, you get these musical theatre performers, they get the brackets, jazz hands and this, that and the other. And actually Stevie's just a very fine actor that sings. And that's how I always like to cast.
Yeah, I'm certainly not a singer. I'd never regard myself as a singer.
Yeah, but you can sing though. You've got a good voice.
Thank you. Thanks.
I wouldn't, put yourself down. Now, boys, I'm going to ask you to sign our lovely guest book. Would you mind signing this?
Of course.
So, all right,
sure.
Put a nice message into the Curtain Up show.
Of course we will.
And now we're going to have a little listen to a classic musical. It's I Could Have Danced All Night from My Fair Lady. I Could Have Danced All Night There from My Fair Lady from the 1991 London cast recording, and that was Martine McCutcheon singing.
Go on, Martine.
Martine, this is my Martine moment. Can you remember that song? That was their big moment.
Yeah.
This is my Martine moment. And that was 1991. My goodness.
Wow.
That is where does the time go? Where does the time go, Stevie Webb?
I don't
I mean, how long? I can't remember when we met, but it feels like
we met at your birthday, and
Soho
that must have been
House.
about
10 when I was 20.
when you were 20.
40 years ago. Thank you, boys. Of course, joined by Mr. Steven Webb and Andrew Keates, who are here from The Thing About Men at the Landor Theatre. Now, Andrew Keates, you've got something very special just for Resonance listeners, haven't you?
We do, actually. If you phone the Landor box office, you can actually get 2 tickets for £30 if you just call 020 7737 7276 and just quote Resonance FM, and that'll be all for the next 7 days.
And also, of course, with that offer, there's a drink with Steven Webb afterwards as well, isn't there?
Oh, is there?
I think you've just made the rest of the run very appealing.
Yes.
And Stephen's playing.
Yeah.
All right.
So generous.
Yeah.
So generous.
So I'm expected to see packed houses now.
Yeah, absolutely. And you won't have to buy in your
and
wallet will be fuller.
And I'll be drunk.
Yeah. Which is always a nice thing. No, it's not. Don't encourage drinking. We've got a bit of gossip now. I don't know if you know this, boys, but Cabaret's been announced at the Savoy
with
Theatre.
Will Young.
With
Yes,
Will Young.
He was a friend of mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, he
Oh,
follows.
why? What, were you going to say something?
No, I love Will Young. I
Okay.
like his echoes.
He's the one from Pop Idol, isn't he?
Yes.
He's the original, yes.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be great.
But also, it's been announced that Michelle Ryan
I know,
is going to be
yeah.
playing Sally Bowles. Do you know
Bionic
Michelle?
Woman.
I have no idea who
The Bionic
any of
Woman,
these
but she was
people
in
are.
EastEnders.
She was in EastEnders. She played
You're not my mother.
Zoe
Yes, I
Slater.
am.
Is that your EastEnders accent?
Zoe's, no, that was Kat. She's got a huskier voice than...
Yes, all right. Jessie.
Yeah.
That was Free Winston, Steve. What was that?
Just do voiceovers, Nathan. You'd be marvellous. Do it again.
You're not my mother.
Yes, I am.
There we go.
That's after a few minutes, too many drinks, probably.
Yeah. So that, of course, opens at the Savoy Theatre. Will you be going to see it?
I will, yes.
Yeah. Will Young's a great performer, though, isn't he? Because
He
he
is.
originally trained as an actor as well.
Yeah, I think I thought he was wonderful in Mrs. Henderson Presents, if you ever saw that.
Who is also written by Martin Sherman.
Ah,
Who did Passing
yeah,
By.
that's
really? I
true.
didn't know that. Oh, very good. Very good. Now we've got Nathan, finally. Have we had any messages? before we...
Oh, you say that. I always go and I turn my iPad off too early, don't I?
I know.
Well, yes, actually. Lisa Caswell was listening and said best quote...
Was listening. She's not listening anymore.
She switched off. She's had to go and do the laundry, so she's gone. But she said, best quote to date, the only episode I remember is the one where someone got killed by a peanut. Sheer brilliance.
Well, it was true, dear.
It's true.
Oh dear. Now, of course, tomorrow is the Eurovision Song Contest.
Flags.
Flags. So whatever you do, I hope you have a nice night, have a party. I'll be having a party. Do you know there's lots of musical theatre stars of representatives in the Eurovision Song Contest?
Michael Ball.
Michael Balls.
Really?
One step at a time.
Yeah, bum.
One step at a
Do you know
time.
anyone else?
I just remember Brotherhood of Man. I think I know the dance.
There's a West End leading lady who was in the original cast of Les Mis, I believe.
Yeah, Frances Ruffelle.
Oh, of course.
With Lonely Symphony, Samantha Womack,
wow.
Message to Your Heart. Of course, she was in Guys and Dolls and currently in South Pacific. Sally Ann Triplett.
Cliff Richard.
One step further. Yeah, Cliff Richard.
Wuthering
Yes.
Heights.
Oh, yes.
Wuthering
yeah,
Heights
and
and
Time, the
And
musical.
Time.
And he represented the UK in the Eurovision Song Contest twice. It was congratulations and power to all our friends, as did Sally Ann Triplett. This is interesting if you're a Eurovision
I know
fan.
it is, Nathan. I know.
What was the one that Lloyd Webber wrote?
Oh, it's my
My
time.
Time.
My Time,
It's
Jade
my
Ewan.
time.
Or at our Eurovision party, I said it's Mai Tai, as in the cocktail.
My tie, yeah.
So I
My tie.
So maybe what'd be really nice is if you are having a Eurovision party tomorrow, send us a little tweet with maybe little photographs or put some photos on our Facebook page. Well, can they do that? That'd be nice.
Yes, they can. At Curtain Up Show, or if you want to get in touch via Facebook, it's facebook.com/Curtain Up Show. And if you're going to mention Engelbert Humperdinck, you have to do #the hump.
Yeah. What are we going to do about hump? The hump. We're going to call him Engelbert Humpy now. Thank you so much for listening. Next week on the show, I'm delighted to say I'm going to be joined by theatre critic Mark Shenton, who, in addition to his journalistic duties, is currently hosting These Are a Few of My Favourite Songs at the Soho Theatre. And I'll also be joined by Wendy Peters, who is currently starring in The Mystery of Edwin Drood, which is just transferred to the Arts Theatre, and also her director, Matthew Gold. Whatever you're doing, have a great week. Go and see lots of theatre. And, of course, let's go out finally with Flags, boys.
Oh,
Flags.
with
There
a
we
bit
go.
of the hump. Take care.